And as you can see in the subtitle here, I'm gonna be talking about ivory because it's like the main thing in Heart of Darkness, and you can learn a bunch of stuff like history and science and all that good stuff. So this is a little bit of stuff that you guys already know. So Heart of Darkness takes place in the Congo region, and it's said to be where it's cursed by natural resources because it has all these really expensive and valuable minerals like copper, gold, diamonds, cobalt, uranium. These are really valuable stuff that can be sold in like really high price, and the reason why they have all these minerals is because of the river, because just the size of the river, of the Congo River, it brings in all the minerals from the mountains into the soil, and that's why it's really rich with all these resources. It's pretty interesting. And as you guys already know, King Leopold, he invaded the Congo region in the late 19th century, and then did all those horrible stuff like slaves and cutting off hands and all that stuff. Right, so that's a little bit of history of the Congo region. Okay, so ivory was one of the most valuable resources of the Congo region. I thought ivory was just the tusk of elephants, but that's not actually true. It's just anything from a mammal, so like any tusk or teeth from a mammal. So a rhino's tusk can also be classified as ivory, or even our teeth can be classified as ivory. But yeah, and the structure of ivory is they're mainly made out of a thing called dentine. I don't know how to really pronounce that, but these are the main compounds that are found in mammals' teeth and tusks, so that kind of makes sense. And and elephants and rhino tusks were really valuable because of its size, and the reason why the size is really important is because people used to carve things out with the tusk, so it has to be big in order for you to carve things out. So you wouldn't be able to make something out of like a little teeth section. You wouldn't be able to carve anything out with that. And so elephants and rhino tusks were really expensive back then. Yeah, just look at the size of that. That's crazy, isn't that? That's really big. That's like a full-grown man, and it's like 2 feet taller than me. Okay, so the value of ivory, so the reason why ivory is so expensive is, like I said, the structure of ivory. And if you look here, so it just got a little weird. So A, B, C, D, it's getting like closer and closer into it, so that's the tusk. And then B is like that little section of it, and then this is zoomed in more, and that's this part right here, and that's zoomed in more. And so it has these pattern-like thing that are crossing over, which is really important because it makes the pattern like this. Oh dang, you can't really see that. I thought it was big enough so you guys can see. But it makes this crossover patterns that are really important because, so it makes these really cool patterns in here. And yeah, you can turn the light perspective. I can't see. It makes those cool patterns, and that's what makes the ivory itself really smooth and hard. Like the density makes it's really hard. And so, like back then, wait, let me just get rid of all this. It's because of these pattern-like stuff in the ivory that makes it really smooth and slippery. And back then, they didn't have a material like that, and so that's why it was really valuable, because it's not like they had plastic back then. Hint, hint, later on. So some of the uses of ivory, I thought this was really important, not important, really cool to know. And there was 2 main uses of ivory back then, and it was making the white keys of the piano keys, the white part, and pool balls. Yeah. And piano keys were important in ivory because it gave them like that grip that the piano people need, which is, I don't know, because I don't really play piano, but I saw this whole 17-minute video of this piano guy talking about Ivory, and he was like saying he needs that grip, which makes it, he can play better, and that's why people wanted Ivory, and that's why pianos, they jumped in price back then, because they started using Ivory a lot more. Yeah, and pool balls, they're supposed to be very hard, so that it absorbs other balls whenever you hit it. And then, yeah, that's why it needed to be very hard, which is perfect for Ivory. And so that's why it was used back then. It's an elastic, I think inelastic collision, pool balls. You'll learn that in physics later on. Yeah. So the hero of the day. So, because elephants were being hunted down like very alarming rates. I can't talk. All countries banned the selling of ivory, and so people were like, oh no, what should we do? And so companies that used ivory, so like piano companies and pool ball companies, I guess, they won't like set out like prizes for people that can come up with materials that can be used instead of ivory. So I think the highest prize was $10,000 back. A substance called cellulose was developed, and this is like the predecessor of plastic of nowadays. Okay, right, plastic, yeah. And so right now everything that was used for ivory is now plastic now, and we use plastic for other things as well. So yeah, you can say that plastic saved elephants. Yeah. Plastic was the miracle worker, yeah. So it was used for pianos and yeah. So the piano keys, let me just explain more about the piano keys. It's actually made out of wood now, and they just coat it with plastic. So, yeah. And the good part about plastic in piano keys is that I don't really know about this because I saw it in the video, but the guy was like saying like ivory piano keys, when it gets really hot and humid, the ivory would sweat. I don't really know what that means, but he said like plastic piano keys wouldn't do that. It wouldn't sweat, and so it wouldn't be slippery whenever you're trying to play piano on a hot day, I guess. And yeah. Yeah, so this is the celluloid billiard ball that was used back then. And it's really weird, it's like all cracked and it doesn't look pretty at all. And a very fun fact about this is back then they used a material called cellulose for these balls. And the nitrocellulose is made out of flash paper and gun cotton, and so they're very flammable. And so back then, whenever people play pool, they'll hit the ball, and if two balls hit really well, like right on target, it would explode because it's very flammable. And so back then, whenever cowboys or in the Midwest, whenever they were playing pool in like a pub or a bar, it would explode. People get all their guns out and think, who shot the gun first, and then, yeah. Fun fact about billiard balls. It doesn't do that now because the plastic we use now is more advanced, but yeah. Cool facts about that. Big facts. Unfortunately, the massacre of elephants has not stopped because there is this rising tradition nowadays of how elephant tusks can be used to treat things as medical uses, which has no scientific basis at all. It's like whenever they say if you eat the liver of sharks, you can treat cancer or something. It's the same thing as that. And so a lot of people still illegally poach elephants. And so I found this statistic online where in 2013, 17,000 elephants were killed in just one area. And if you consider the whole continent of Africa, it goes up to 25,000 elephants in just 1 year. And yeah, a lot of people are trying to prevent this, but it's not really showing guys saw, because there's still a lot of people that are poaching elephants. And one of the reasons why ivory is really expensive is because you can't just take out an elephant's tusk and leave it be. You actually have to kill the elephant and then take the tusk out. And that's why it's so expensive, because of the whole process of killing the elephant and then taking the tusk out and then, yeah. So, yeah, just gonna let you guys know that it's actually a problem still. We're raising awareness. And, yep, that's it.